Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Truth Bombs. Happy weekend. I'm thrilled to be joined by my best friend, Yelena.
Hello.
She flew in from Colorado. She and I go way back, but she's actually a food developer. She and her husband have developed various foods that have been in grocery stores across the country. And today she's going to share some secrets about the toxic hidden ingredients that you don't realize that there's an added poison in what you're eating.
Well, I will tell a couple of horror stories. Also, where exactly do I look?
Here it is, right here.
Right here. Okay, I have to look in this little black box.
Or
Okay.
this one as well.
Or this one as well. Okay, so I'm certainly going to share a couple of horror stories from my food developer career, but we also want to introduce
The chickens!
to Harry, and
Harry
Lloyd.
and Lloyd. So Yelena and I bought these chickens today. Um, this ties into the whole topic we're discussing.
Yes, because Ivory wants to go more sustainable and have her own chickens, her own eggs, her own garden, and
Yeah, where I know what this chicken has been fed, so I know what's in my eggs. I know the fact that the chicken is eating the healthy ingredients that I feed it, and therefore the eggs that I eat from the chicken are going to be that much healthier.
So, how many chickens in total you are planning to have? Are we
Just these two.
Just these two?
Harry and Lloyd.
Harry and Lloyd.
Yes, their first day on the Hecker farm.
Yes, so Ivory is going sustainable, and then she's
Cheers!
Oh, cheers! Okay.
Cheers, everybody. So we're going to dive into the
Cheers.
secrets of the food industry.
I
Yeah,
think
these
Lloyd is a
chickens are a
little
little bit-
nervous about my wine.
Ooh, there we go.
Lloyd doesn't approve us drinking.
Mm-mm. Okay, guys.
Mm-hmm.
These chickens are the coolest. I'm very excited to have them
And I think they
in my backyard.
I think they need to go back
Okay, so Yelena is going to take the chickens back.
to backyard.
Well, before we dive into the toxic ingredients in your average groceries, Yelena knows it all from her research and development.
And I will be right back.
All right, so real quick, shout out to the sponsor of my coverage, which is Noble Gold. So the second and third largest bank runs in history
good
happened
baby.
last month. The government is taking steps to guarantee all deposits. That means more money printing. Thousands have approached Noble Gold Investments to secure their wealth with gold. Gold is the most stable asset outside of government control. Hurry, go to Noble Gold Investments. That's ivoryheckergold.com to secure your wealth. Bag a free 5-ounce America the Beautiful coin if you qualify. That's ivoryheckergold.com. ivoryheckergold.com. Great time to invest in gold right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Back on screen. It is dirty. These chickens are dirty, you guys. Woo! But they're awesome. I'm looking forward to the eggs. We
Okay,
just bought
here
them
we go.
today.
Here we
And
go.
it's a part of what we're talking about. All these foods that are supposedly healthy, unless you raise them yourself at your own home, like my eggs are about to be, you don't know what's in them. So Yelena, jump into you. You were saying the latest food that you are working on developing is an oatmeal.
Yes, I am planning to develop my own ready-to-eat oatmeal brand. So I was trying to source ingredients, and of course, when I am developing something, I would like it to develop the way I will eat it myself and feed my family, my parents, my non-existing children. So I wanted my oatmeal organic, and I wanted it glyphosate free. So glyphosate, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. It's a weed killer, which is
weed killer.
Yeah, which is extremely toxic for humans and linked to various like side effects and bad stuff.
Wow.
So of course, I wanted to find oats provider whose oats won't have any glyphosate. And of course, I wanted it to be glyphosate certified. So there I was on my search. And apparently there is a big scandal unfolding in consumer packaged goods industry when all these brands who are claimed to be organic oatmeals, they all show a great amount of glyphosate when tested by independent labs. So let's say you are buying an organic oatmeal that you have to give to your kids or eat it yourself, and you pay premium because it
Yeah.
has this organic label on it, and then it's just like ridden with glyphosate.
Wow. So that's not organic. So
No,
you're saying in your research to develop this brand, you discovered that organic is actually a sham?
it can be.
The label
It
is
can be.
false?
It can be as well. It can be as well. This is just the horror story that occurred lately on the market. It's always like developing in the last year or something like that.
What?
So, and then it gets even better. I found a supplier who allegedly told me that their oatmeal is glyphosate free and they have a certificate. So I asked them, how do you test? Can you tell me your testing procedure? And they're like, well, once a year we take a couple of samples and we test. And I was just mind blown about it because it's a meal. So most of the grain is handled by the mills, and then small producers like me, I would probably not even be able to buy it from the mill. I will get it from the distributors. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. So a lot of small farmers or big farmers bring all their stuff to the mill, and it all kind of goes together, and you don't really know what came from where and what is in there, and then they just kind of scoop a little bit there, scoop a little bit there, and test it, and then they call it, for example, glyphosate free, which is
So you're saying in the mill that the oats have come from so many different farms that to test one little sample, it doesn't prove that various farms mixed in
exactly.
do that they might have glyphosate. But here's the thing: isn't it the USDA that certifies things organic?
Yes, it is. And new organic legislation, I believe, was just enacted like a couple of weeks ago. And guess what? It does not require to test for pesticides residuals
What?
in organic food. Still,
That's the whole purpose of organic. Like you're avoiding those toxic fertilizers or pesticides, getting rid of the pests.
weed killers. Yeah, so it's still not required. So even though there could be glyphosate or God only know what, because the way it works, it's a cross contamination from what I know. I don't know for sure, but that's what I heard. So let's say one small farmer grows his grain organic. The next one, just like, I don't know, across the road, sprays it with a weed killer. So all that glyphosate from that field can end up as a pesticide residual on his neighbor field, which is supposed to be organic. So it's cross contamination.
Wow. Okay, what's the bad, like what happens to people who eat glyphosate?
Well, there is all kind of stuff the scientists say that happens. You can Google it. It's adrenal issues. Adrenal issues. It's for sure very bad for your GI tract. So,
Gastrointestinal.
oh, it's terrible. It's
Wow.
terrible. It's terrible for your gastrointestinal tract. It's
Wow.
terrible for literally everything. So
Wow.
the problem is that we cannot know for sure where our food comes, from, and how it was handled, and is that really true that it's organic? So that's why you ended up getting your own chickens, because you want your own eggs. And I I'm very excited to see you garden here a little bit.
Now my eggs will only be organic if I make sure that the chicken feed
Feed
is
is
organic.
organic.
But I mean, if I take away the chicken feed and the chickens just have to eat the grass and bugs in my backyard, then it would be organic.
Well, we need to do a little bit more reading on how to handle chicken. From what I see on internet, what Google Almighty says me, they can eat absolutely anything.
Chickens, yeah, they can
Chickens.
literally eat anything. So
Chickens,
I'll
yeah.
be feeding them my leftovers. You know, I like to cook organic. Well, it's
Well,
allegedly organic.
well.
Yeah. Now I'm rethinking. I'm like, you know, I like to shop at Whole Foods because they have a lot of organic. But do you think much of it is actually organic?
I have no idea. I saw a few scandals last year when they were finding out that all that organic produce in Whole Foods actually comes from China.
And Lord knows if the Chinese, when they say it's organic, if it's actually organic.
Oh, I can tell you how USDA or US confirms that Chinese ingredients are organic, because we were buying some seeds from China for one of our companies, for a chocolate company actually. So the seeds were allegedly organic, and when we asked, but how do you know? You know, when we asked the distributor, an American distributor, and they say, oh, we go there twice a year.
We go there twice a year, and that's how we know it's organic.
That's how we know it's organic. So what they do, they go there twice a year and they take a probe or, you know, a little handful of something. They test it, and then they pronounce it organic, and that's it. And what Chinese are doing, you know, all the other time, no one knows.
Oh my God.
I mean,
okay, you also have details on how foods are made hyper palatable. So food developers such as yourself, they have a way of making food hyper palatable, basically get you addicted. Like, have you ever eaten a fast food burger and like, I think they put crack in here, it's so good?
and they do. They
do put crack. Their own version.
You know, some version of crack for food to be hyper palatable, it has to be of a certain perfect golden ratio of fat and crunchy and salty.
Okay, you're
and
making me hungry.
You know, all of that. So big companies, they have the whole food labs to figure it out, that, you know, exact proportion in their already unhealthy foods. Plus, you know, there are certain additives for that too. So, and then we are all hooked up and we are buying that stuff and chewing on it and get addicted. And then you know what happens.
So one of the big food products you and your husband have is bread.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff from bread to chocolate, as you know. American bread is the whole separate tale. Our last company was actually quite a big company. It was commercial bakery, which tried to bake the bread the way small bakers bake it. So, meaning with no so-called dough conditioners or preservatives or any additives. Yeah, there is certain, you know, dough conditioners that are being put in the dough to change certain properties of the protein, because gluten is a protein.
I thought it was a carb.
Well, gluten is technically a protein. I hope I'm not mistaken. And they have to be a certain strength so that they can bind and create this beautiful porous structure in bread. If they're not strong enough, the dough just tears, and then, you know, the bread is holey, has a big holes in it. So people put a lot of stuff in our bread that is not supposed to be there. So I think I sent you one of the labels.
You were talking about datum. Datum?
datum, that is
yeah, we have it on the screen. It's short for diacetyl
yeah, by the
tartaric
way,
acid
this
ester.
is exactly a dough conditioner that is also found to
And
be linked.
what is datum made out of?
God only knows. I mean, I am not a food chemist.
You said it's found to be linked to what?
I'm not a food chemist, so I cannot tell you how exactly they make it. It's a lab engineered dough conditioner. So it's not something from the nature. Like you make your yeast, yourself, and you put it in bread, and it has all that beautiful chemical reaction. This is a human-made harmful dough conditioner. From what I know, it's not allowed in European Union, but it's still.
But the FDA approved it.
But FDA somehow, of course, somehow approved it, and a lot of food manufacturers still use it. And best you can do is to try to read the food labels. So before
you have a food label here. What's it linked to? You said health issues. Yeah, the food label here. You sent me this.
Well, for example, look at this.
Yeah, I see it towards the bottom. It says datum.
It says datum, and also look how many other ingredients that it's like a periodic table. Like why humans want to eat a periodic table?
Right.
It's not something that is supposed to be in your food. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to read the darn label when you buy your food. And if you see the words that you don't know, which you do not use in your everyday life, okay, and that looks like a part of math scientists something, maybe do not buy it. I mean, I'm gonna be consuming that on a regular basis isn't gonna be good for you. Now, this company, I'm not gonna name what company it is.
But it was bread.
It was bread, yeah. They're pretty much honest. They just put everything on the label. Actually, if it less than 2% of the recipe of the ingredient, you have a legal right to not put it on the label.
Oh, wow.
So some companies put that shit in, claim relatively clean label, but the shit is still there, and you basically...
If it's 2%, it's 2%. And you don't have to add that in.
Here we go. It all adds up.
Wow.
And then here we are. I'm quite sure human species already evolves to something, I don't know what.
To be able to combat this?
No, I think we are changing.
We're just mutants at this point.
We're mutants.
We're genetically modified, pretty much. Especially if you took that new pharmaceutical. So what is datum? Like, what does it do to your body?
Linked to, again, some gastrointestinal cancer, migraines. I don't know, whole array of
it's
issues.
interesting. I've heard from girls who travel overseas and foodies who go over, eating in Italy. They say eating all the carbs in Italy, their stomach is just fine. They eat the same carbs and pizza and pasta in the US, and they're like, their stomach is bloated, going crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's these ingredients that are banned in Europe.
Well, you can see one right here. I grew up eating bread and pasta and like all that stuff. And I spent a lot of time in Italy, so pizza, pasta, all day round. When I moved to US, in 3 to 4 years, I developed gluten intolerance.
Wow.
Which is pretty remarkable for me because I certainly have all the enzymes needed to break gluten because I basically grew up with gluten and I have a heritage and genetic that for sure allows me to have those enzymes.
She's Russian, you guys. She's from Russia.
Yeah, don't hate me for that. So
checking the comments. That's the worst fake accent I've ever heard. They think your accent's fake. No, she's an actual Russian, you guys. We're gonna get her take on Putin. What's your take on Putin?
Oh my God. Well, my take on Putin that someone has to take down on him.
Take him down?
That's my take on Putin. I have never been a fan of Putin. I never voted Putin. And
well, you had told me in the past there was something about him that was likable to you.
Yes, there were
like his masculinity or something.
Well, he certainly has a wonderful PR crew, you know, because
PR crew.
Yeah, in Russia you can buy all these posters with, I don't know, Putin riding horses.
The public relations people.
Yeah.
Shirtless on a horse.
Yeah, with little kittens. And actually, he used to be pretty likable, at least when he started, because I remember that time when it was so scary in Russia. You could not go to a subway. There were terroristic attacks all the time, like all the time. And then Putin somehow kind of got a hand on it or cleaned it up. So it became peaceful. And I know that he, you know, really tried. He really tried to be decent for a while, and I know that he applied to join NATO a few times, and they totally
they rejected him.
Based on, I don't know, whatever, that we have corruption. Don't you think Poland has corruption, for example? You know, like there are countries that accepted into NATO that for sure have some corruption. In any case, he hasn't been accepted to the club, and there were some agreements broken.
Right.
And, you know, and then
as far as NATO not getting any closer to Russia yet, they continue
so he went mad and all that stuff. But I think that this is still not a legit reason to kill our neighbors and to freaking wave his nuclear balls, you know, all the time, and have this escalated rhetoric of like, I'm gonna nuke everyone. Or
we got comments. We love Russia.
Well, I love Russia too. I'm just not a big fan of current president in his current state.
So what are you? I understand since Putin invaded Ukraine, there's been this movement in America of a pro-Putin movement. Like millions of Americans have decided that they love Putin now after he invaded Ukraine. Some of them have told me that Putin is going to save the world. What's your reaction?
Well, my reaction is this. If you think that, I think you should be sent to Russia to live there. No, not forever. You should just go there and live there for, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, I think enough. Live there, you know, walk the streets, interact with local law enforcement, and try to do business there. Yeah. Try to be a business person there, a small entrepreneur. And then see how it goes for you.
Wow, because there's so much cronyism, right? Like you have to be, I think you have to be in bed with the right people for your business to even exist.
That is true for sure. And also there is a queue out of the door at all times because you have to pay. And okay, it's all, you know, under the table. It's all under the table. It's all black cash. So you have to pay police. Before we used to have mafia in 90s, right? And then mafia just became police. So you pay police, you pay firemen, you pay people who are like handling, I don't know, the sanitation authority that are basically signed that your restaurant is safe to eat, for example. You pay those. IRS, if you have, and you do have that, because otherwise you won't be able to function in Russia. They usually call you like a couple of days before the inspectors come to check you. Like, hey, hey, get ready, we are coming. And then you can see your whole accounting department just fucking sitting, shredding some shit the whole night.
IRS gives a heads up to your accounting department, deletes the evidence, and then you're good.
Yes, because everyone is on a payroll of some sort. And I know that Putin recently got kind of very pissed off about this, and he promised to weed corruption. Unfortunately, I think it will be, I don't know how many generations required to weed that out of Russia. Like, I don't know, it's everywhere. Now, in America, there is also corruption, believe me, but it's pretty high up top. And if you're a small business person, as I am, for example, or even like medium-sized business person, you don't have to pay a fireman, a sanitation person, and you don't have to be under, constant threat that your competitor have a better connections in the IRS or police, and they are just fucking gonna take you down for nothing. Just accuse you of something fake, and you're gonna go down. So, at least in America, for small and medium-sized businesses, there is really some capitalism going on.
Yeah, you had told me that most Russians live in like extreme poverty.
Yeah, it's 80%, I think. That's why, or something like that. And in the cities, it's pretty good, right? If you go to St. Petersburg, Moscow, or Yekaterinburg, it is pretty good. But it's just such a St. Petersburg or Moscow or Yekaterinburg, our three biggest cities.
And you grew up in extreme poverty, right?
Well, same like you with an outhouse.
The thing that we have in common, I don't know anyone else who grew up with an outhouse, you guys. We're real country. Okay. Mm-hmm. But you also mentioned the how the police will just come after gays for being gay. And there's articles about this too. So Russia is like extremely homophobic.
It is
from the government down. And when I talked about this on my Instagram, like people are like, "Yay! They're anti-gay." I was like, "Excuse me," but well, I'm about freedom, and to arrest a gay person from being gay is not freedom.
Well, I can tell you this, that we used to have, I don't know actually what is going on now, because I haven't been in Russia nearly a decade. And guess why? Because I don't want to go back, especially now, because as most of us immigrants, we are like really kind of low-key afraid that we go back and we are
they're going to come after. They'll think you're an American spy now,
or something like
that. And the Americans probably think you're a Russian spy. So you're caught in the middle.
Yeah, I'm caught.
Okay, but I am seeing the comment section here. I do want to get your, my audience's reaction. I understand a lot of my audience love Putin, okay? And they're saying, but wait, Putin is stopping the New World Order. I'm seeing your comments right now. He's stopping the New World Order from proceeding. He's destroying biolabs. There was a biolab in eastern Ukraine, right up against.
Of course there was. I mean, come on.
And World Health Org put out a notice about it when Russia invaded Ukraine. World Health Org said that you guys need to be extremely careful as you're shooting stuff back and forth at each other, because there are extremely dangerous pathogens in these biolabs that can spread deadly illness.
Which just happened a few years back, no?
Exactly. And it's just like, okay. So, this isn't a conspiracy theory. Like, World Health Org was like, yeah, this is, and you can look at the documentation and see that there were various deadly pathogens being housed. Now, why is this biolab housing deadly diseases?
Well, why there is a datum in our food? Because someone is making money of this.
Or sickness.
Exactly. Like, why all those chemicals are in our food? Because someone is making fucking money.
Oh, we got a comment from Kevin. He said, "Hey, Ivory, There's a church I go to on some Sundays in Illinois. They sometimes hold events there. Would you be open to speaking at one? Sure, I'm definitely open to speaking events. You can email ivory@ivoryhecker.com to book me to speak at your event. If you do not hear back from me, please email me again because I do not have an assistant and sometimes I miss things. I should get an assistant.
Yes, you absolutely should.
So we had someone saying, please ask your guest about some other ingredient in food. I forgot where was that, but my final thing was that. So your bread company is Izio, by the way. We hadn't talked about Izio, which is sold at Whole Foods and elsewhere.
Yeah, so Izio does things pretty clean. I mean, it's.
Oh, here it is. So would you please ask your guest if she's seen FDA and industry abuse GRAS safety status?
I actually don't know what it is. I would have to look.
Okay. So my final question on this development, like we have to bring closure to development of your oatmeal. Were you ever able to find an actual organic oat farmer
that can satisfy me? No. I mean, that
there's no one in America or the world.
I basically have to. I have to settle on something that is not perfect, but this is the best what is in there. So this is what I will be settling for, and this is what's available, and this is what
I should put you in touch with my neighbors back in Wisconsin. So I grew up in farmland, Wisconsin, and my family just had a ranch with like cattle and horses, but the neighbors around us, they were all like dairy farmers, and when they would rotate the crops and things, but there would be wheat one year, corn one year, but oats, I could put you in touch and maybe you can do a little contract, like, hey, can you grow my oats like actually organically?
They absolutely can grow oats organically, and then it's gonna be cross-contaminated or cross-pollinated from neighbor field that is using all those weed killers and some
my goodness
other bad ingredients. So what we need is, I don't know, if it was up to me, I would just prohibit those harmful pesticides and chemicals all at once. Just like, no, grow food organically.
Yeah, that would be.
The problem is then some people would make less money.
Well, that would be nice.
That would
more
be
regulation
nice.
Though. It'd just be nice to. I'm just wondering what's incentivizing these people away from that. Because I believe in free market economics, and it's like I know there's a market for real organic food. So what is stopping that? Who they must be getting, payouts from someone to.
Well, price, because
Or is this weed killer that important that like oats literally can't grow without it?
Well, it's just much more difficult. For example, there is another pretty bad toxic substance. I gotta Google the name, but they put it on a grain so that the plant won't bend. Like usually grain, those plants.
It blows in the wind.
Yeah, they blows in the wind. And it used to bend, especially when it's like ripe, right? And it's like a time to harvest. So there is a chemical for that will make that poor plant to just stay erect. So that harvesting by machines or whatever they use is going to be easier, because if the plant is bent as it's supposed to be, like Mother Nature made it, technology that is used for harvesting could not be successful. And then what happens? The farmer loses revenue. And if farmer doesn't have enough revenue, they go out of business, and it's very bad. But the problem is, okay, this is pretty mind-blowing. For example, to make my oatmeal, the one that I want to make with all the beautiful proteins and like micro ingredients, will cost me about $1 in ingredients. So dollar. And I'm buying pretty, beautiful organic or as organic as I can find ingredients. So it's $1. My packaging, because I'm a very small company and I have to do a short runs, it's 50 cents. To be able to stay in business, not taking any big margins, the margin I want, or EBITDA for the company that I want is not more than 20%. I would have to charge a consumer $5.99 to be able to stay in business. And my ingredients
For how much oatmeal?
Well, it's, I don't know, a pack this size, 220 grams to 280 grams.
How many servings is that?
It's one serving. And it cost me
so
$1
like
to make it.
Almost $6 just for one serving of oatmeal.
Yeah, so it's
Biden's economy, guys. But it's like she has no choice. That's the only way she can make a margin.
Again, my ingredients are $1, right? $1. Then it's 50 cents for packaging. There is overhead and stuff, right? But then I have to allow at least 100 more percent to be added to that price, because there is all kind of intermediaries that wants their cut: brokers, distributors, grocery stores. So as a small foodpreneur, I have to make sure I feed them enough.
Wow.
So yeah, Whole Foods, really grocery stores want to be able to put like 60% margin on your food items. So everyone wants money, everyone is hungry, and consumer wants everything organic, everything very wholesome, but for $2.99.
Exactly.
So it's pretty tough spot.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, food business is a pretty tough spot, especially if you really care what you do, especially if you want to do something that you eat yourself and will feed your family.
They said Brandon's building back better. Yeah, that's the situation. Yeah, during Trump's presidency, he was trying to strip away all this BS regulation that increased costs, that made it so hard to have a business. And I remember one of his key press conferences about that, when he had a stack of papers this high showing all the regulations that were bogging down and preventing businesses from prospering. He was blowing those away. Does this whole press conference about now businesses are going to be able to take off. Sure enough, our economy shoots up with Trump. But at the end of that press conference, not a single member of the media has a follow-up question about that stack of papers. Is all like, let's talk about Charlottesville, and good people on both sides, or whatever the heck he said. And
well, there is inflation, our favorite topic, when everything is just outrageously expensive, and it's still going. They keep hiking rates up, and
they're like, oh, we're not sure how to fix inflation. I guess if we jack up the rates and screw up, more of your money, maybe that'll help. I'm like, how about stop printing money to begin with? That's what caused the inflation.
Well, here we go, and like right now, all the businesses are gonna stall, because look at me. To make this company work, I would need about, on a pretty good, commercially viable scale, I would need about $1,700,000. That's what I need to buy a certain food production ready building, and then, a bunch of equipment, blah, 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 blah.
Just to start your small oatmeal company? Oh my gosh.
Yep. There is always co-packers, but it's another story, which is going to take me another couple of hours to talk about. In any case, so I go to my bank, and I'm like, so how about money? And they're like, sure. How about, 8% or something? So the rates are so crazy.
Interest rates.
The rates are so crazy that this is the reason why I still haven't done that company, because I just cannot afford to take this money. And imagine how many.
And then you take all that risk, go deep in debt, and then you pray that someone eats your oatmeal. You can see why
Exactly.
The monopoly on oatmeal continues, because everyone who tries something new, it's so hard.
for me, for this company to work, I need a rates about, let's say, 4-5%. 4 would be good. I'm not even dreaming of 3 that we had like a couple of years ago. What it was like.
Oh yeah, 3%.
Yeah, we had
rates.
like 2 or
Ooh,
3
that
or
was nice.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even dreaming about that anymore. I just want like 4 or 5 because then I can kind of do it.
Yeah.
But with current rates, I just can't.
Dang.
So it's all in suspense. Economy is like in a tough place, you guys.
So my viewers said that they would send you Biden if you want him over in Russia. You guys can keep
okay, guys.
You guys can keep Biden. Okay, so we were talking about differences between America and Russia. I actually wanted to show you guys this New York Times article. Women avoiding. So look what this says here. New York Times put this story out. Many American women are now seeking relationships abroad, with some citing toxic dating scene in the U.S.
Oh, well, U.S. men were doing that for years, honey. See, look at me.
That's how Yelena came to America, is American men threw in the towel on American women and went to find a good Russian wife, and there was Yelena.
I know. And my husband runs around and advises everyone to find a Eastern European wife, even though this particular example is a total high maintenance bitch.
But
he still loves it.
Yeah, apparently you Russian wives are so much different than a lot of American wives.
Yeah.
What are the differences that you've noticed?
Well, first of all, our women, especially women of my generation, and I'm an elderly millennial, so I'm the beginning of the millennial generation. So now maybe it's changing. I don't know, but like women who are about our age, 30, early 30, mid 30, late 30, in Russia, all of us were brought up to be beautiful because this is a survival technique. So you stay fit, you really watch your pounds. You are always looking very presentable, it's because this is your way in life, to be beautiful. And
so you think there's greater incentive in Russia to be a hot chick than there is in America?
Absolutely, because in Russia it's pays off to get shit done as a person working in a Russian business.
You're saying that they'll hire you or give you the promotion if you're hot?
Pretty much so. And no, you have to be smart and you have to, know how to get the job done. But for example, I worked with many even governmental institutes, like testing labs. I used to be in industrial equipment, as you know, and custom, right? And if you look pretty, you have a chances that your tests would be sped up, like as a little, nice favor, and you go there and you flirt and you are pleasant and you smile and and they're like, sure, I will help you. And you also play this damsel in distress. It's like, oh my God, like, Sir, if you don't help me, I don't know what's gonna happen to me. So you play a little bit of this, you play a little bit of that. You're pretty, and they help you.
Wait, this is how Russian women do business?
Well, this is how we have to do business. We cannot afford to be directly aggressive like American women. American women are like that. They are aggressive directly. Russian women, we are not, aggressive at all. We would go, from behind, and if we want to accomplish something that we are not sure our husband would like, we will plant these little ideas in his mind, and we would do it as long as it fucking takes. Okay, a week or a month or a day, and then
make him think it's his idea.
Exactly. And then in a month he's like, wow, I just thought maybe it's a wonderful idea to get chicken's ivory.
Love it. Oh, we have another comment here. Congratulations on your new chickens. Here's a small contribution to keep them happy and healthy. Thank you so much to the inflation situation for your super chat. I was going to say, you guys, I wish we had a camera on the window because almost this entire podcast, the chicken has been walking back and forth in the window staring at us. I think they liked sitting on our lap.
Oh, yeah.
If you guys didn't watch the beginning of the show, we had the chickens on our lap. So go back to the beginning when we hang up this live stream. But I'm reading your comments. Russian women aren't aggressive at all, except that sniper chick from World War II.
Yeah. That sniper chick, by the way, she was a big friend of Eleanor Roosevelt. I know that chick. She was actually dope. But yes.
So I was gonna say, I think, in America, still to this day, to a certain extent, I think to be pretty is powerful. Well, I think, for instance, in the TV news industry, it's a visual medium. So you have to look good to get hired if you're going to be an on-camera reporter or anchor. But, I think that only goes to a certain extent in America. And in many ways, in past decades in America, it's actually reversed, where if you are too pretty or too sexy, you are actually discriminated against in ways or not taken seriously for important jobs.
Well, in Russia, you are also not taken seriously, but by appealing towards men, natural, by the way, desire to protect and help us women, we can get a lot of shit done. We're just sneaky,
Russian women are more sneaky than American.
We're very sneaky. We're like so sneaky, I can't believe it. American women, they are super like, direct. This is it. I want that. And this is how I want it. And if it's not what I want, then goodbye. No, Russian women were like, yeah, we are very sneaky.
So this New York Times article is talking about the toxic dating scene in America and why American women are going overseas to find the love of their life. They actually talk about this dating. Now, this article is largely about dating app, and it seems that at this point in history, dating apps are like the way to date now. It's Tinder Abroad or something. It's like an extra paid for version of Tinder, and handpick that, like, I only want to date men in Paris, and then that'll be your algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And so women, it's, I guess in recent months, there's been a huge growth of that. Women saying, screw American men. I'm going to handpick, like, I only want Spaniards. I only want Russians.
Oh, good luck.
I bet there's a lot of American women wanting Russian men right now because for some reason, Russians are the new cool kids in the alternative media.
Well, what can I say? Good luck then. You better cook, bitch.
Oh, okay. So tell me about Russian men. I hear they're super like traditional. Right? Yeah, that woman better cook.
You better.
Like they're all Andrew Tates.
In a way, yes. It's a culture of machismo.
The thing is, I crave a man like that. I think because I come from a very traditional background, like with my parents, and so I'm just like, I want a man who wants me to cook. I dated this guy who he was like, he wanted to cook and he hated that he just felt bad that I was cooking for him. I'm like, what? And I broke up with him. So I'm like, I want to be able to do the female role, and it's crazy how rare that actually is. And a lot of American men are the cooks and the women don't cook, for instance.
Well, it's very easy, I think, in a way. If you remember, no, you cannot remember, and I cannot remember, but people said that somewhere in 50s, 60s, 70s, even maybe even 80s in America, it was enough to live a good life if only father worked. So let's say it's the family, wife, husband and couple of kids. So the father would go to work, and he would earn enough money to provide for the whole family, and his wife can, stay at home and be with kids, and it's enough for everyone. Now, to afford a pretty good lifestyle, both of the parents should work.
Yeah.
So that's why it changed so much, because women also must work now.
Yeah, that's true.
To afford a good lifestyle. So, and then unfortunately in Russia, we have the same situation, but men also expect women to, do all the traditional role, meaning cooking, washing and all that shit, because it's not something a real man will do. But woman also has to work and also bring some money, and not, lipstick money, like a real money for the groceries and shit.
And I think the people who suffer the most in that situation are the children of that couple. Like our next generation, like how's our next generation going to turn out? Because the parents aren't even raising their own kids anymore. They're both so busy trying to scrape by, both working.
Well, I actually don't know. It's a good question, but I think the Institute of Family is sooner or later going to be abolished.
What?
I think so.
Why? Well, what's going to take its place? And why do you think this?
I don't know. I'm just watching where the world, goes. Okay, look at me, for example, right? But I'm a weird woman in Russia. Like in Russia, I consider weird. Like I did not wish to have any children. I just didn't. I am not a motherly type, and my husband is fine with that because he had 2 children of his previous marriage. So he's like, okay, I reproduced. I don't need. So we found each other, and it's good, and it's actually 8 billion people, and all that stuff. But there are more and more women like me who are more interested in like career, travel, stuff like that.
And fewer women want to have kids.
Fewer women choose to have families and kids. So there are more and more women like me who wants, I don't know, travel and career. And it's fine when it's in balance, but I think the world is going to tip a little bit that less and less people would have kids. And people are becoming more and more estranged. Like, look at the families at the dinner. Everyone is on their fucking phone now.
Yeah.
And friends, how often do I see you? Not that often. We mostly talk on internet.
Yeah.
So humans are becoming more and more estranged and farther, apart from each other. So at some point, I think it's just gonna morph into something else.
Not to mention with this whole online dating situation, which I've never been an online dater, but I hear from these people about how it just like it reorganizes your whole perspective on the opposite gender, because now the opposite gender is like so accessible. Like there's a person for every day of the week to date someone new. It's endless on the online dating. So basically, the other gender becomes so disposable.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got tired of this one. Let me find a new one on the online dating. Yeah. So basically, they have less incentive to finally settle down with someone and have a family.
Yeah.
So people just date until, now I'm old and it's too late to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so that goes with your point.
Yeah, it's swipe all the time. And also, it's very difficult to be in a relationships with another human being. Marriage is difficult. I mean, it gives a lot of happiness.
I'm like, why the heck is that?
Well, because we are humans. I don't know.
My parents were a rare mix. They had a phenomenal marriage that was not, it was not difficult for them. Well, they had maybe like one difficult little phase in their entire marriage. We have a super chat here. We haven't looked at this one. Thank you for another super chat. You said the decline in the U.S. standard of living happens to coincide with the U.S. dollar being removed from the gold standard. Got gold? There you go, guys. Click the link in my description, Ivory Hecker Gold. That's true. I forget Yeah, I forget. It was it Nixon who did that? I think so. I'm asking a Russian about American history.
I think
who got rid of the gold standard?
I think it was Nixon.
Yeah.
I am not sure. There are two beautiful books. It's called Bitcoin Standard and Gold Standard. That I like, that you can like read on everything what happened to the economy, because we live in a Keynesian, so there is
Keynesian,
that one
economics.
Yeah, that's how we live, and that doesn't go with having a gold standard or having any limits to printing money.
Dang.
And I'm always like, who do we owe though? Decepticons? Like,
oh dang it! What a time to be alive. Eric says, "How did Yelena migrate to the U.S.? Her husband mail ordered her."
Yeah, yes, my husband like literally mail ordered.
No, they had met and fell in love, and he was just like, "Come live with me."
Yeah, we actually, my husband and I, we met online. But
her husband's a Minnesotan, you guys.
Minnesota. Minnesota.
So a Russian became a Minnesotan. Yikes. Minnesota is not the same. Let me tell you something about Minnesota. Those chicks are all butch lesbians in Minnesota. I'm sorry to the chicks who aren't, but there's a lot of the most masculine women on the planet. Also the subject of those memes where the woman is on her knees screaming in the air at Trump. Those are the Minnesota females with the boy cuts. And the Minnesota males are the most feminine men I've ever met. I lived in Minnesota for 2 years and I was very single.
I was very single. Well, I have wonderful friends from Minnesota, all the different people. So I'm not gonna like engage in this particular conversation right now.
As far as living in your ultra feminine to appeal to your husband as the Russian women do, like that don't fly in Minnesota.
Well, my husband is an old school. He believes, in being a person of his world and being responsible, and
Yeah, your husband's a real man, and I can see why he had to go all the way to Russia to find you, because those chicks were not in Minnesota. You're not gonna find an actual woman living in her femininity in Minnesota. I'm sorry to the rare females. I know there's a handful in Minnesota who are living in their divine feminine, but it's very rare.
Well, I have a lot of Minnesotan friends who are living in their divine feminine, but guess what? They are not on online dating, okay? They are not. Most of them, a lot of them are happy in some, relationships. And
okay, so where can people actually find a divine feminine?
A divine feminine?
Not on a dating app. Where can they find that woman?
It's very interesting because I did meet my husband online, not on a dating app though. It was a website for like travelers, kind of couch surfing, travel by interest. And we were divers. We are scuba divers. So we were organizing a scuba diving trip, and he was one of the people who wanted to participate in the trip. And this is how we met. And I think because my husband done a lot of internet dating. So we first, we were arranging the trips. Then we were like talking. Then we became friends. And then this friendship started to, shift into some romantic stuff. And then he started being very pushy about meeting in person. I'm like, why hurry? We are gonna like see each other in a couple of months. And we're gonna dive as planned. He's like, no. So he really wanted to meet me much earlier, and he explained me why, because he he had an internet dating experience when he didn't get what was advertised.
He was catfished?
He was catfished.
Oh my God. Like, did it show up as a dude or what?
Well, it showed up like 15 years older and 20 pounds heavier.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
Which is, it's fine to be.
So he didn't want to be catfished on this diving trip, even though you guys were just
even though
diving separately.
it was actually a group of people with
It's a whole group, but he needs to know whether this one member of the group is really that weight in that age.
Well,
needless to say that they fell in love.
We became romantic, and he just didn't want to be, catfish. And then
so him being really pushy and persistent actually worked for you. That was appealing to you.
It was a classic, story of persistence, because when he replied to that trip, when we posted the trip, he was one of the people who replied. I looked at him and he had, no profile picture, no plans to go to Belize, nothing about diving, no paddy.
So he looked like a scammer.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just some like creepy dude. And he wrote me the second time, and I was like, oh my God, no. He wrote me a third time, and then he just wrote me another message saying, I'm a pilot, I fly my own plane. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, this arrogant asshole just doesn't give up. Oh my God, I love this man. I need to talk to him now.
Dang it, you just inspired all the creepers in my DMs to keep hitting me up, even though I haven't responded in 5 years.
Well, I do believe in destiny. Okay, you know that I am a little bit of inclining Hindu/Buddhist person, so I do believe in reincarnation and destiny and all that nana woo hippie shit. So I just believe that he's my soulmate. Aww, and we found each other. That. So we found each other in this weird way, and well,
I love it. I'm looking at your comments.
Yeah, there's covers everywhere.
Thank you guys so much. Well, the hour has flown by. Yelena has to catch a flight. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend.
It was fun.
Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And let me know if you compare to a Russian, because she broke down the Russian female and the male. And it's very interesting. Let us know in the comments if you're similar to Russians or Americans. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. See you later.
Okay.